Okay, think this is working. Okay, so I'm just gonna start with do the background. So I always go to 1080 by 1080, so it's a square, and then resolution, which is like how much pixels are in the picture, so how basically how clear the picture is. I always put that at 4000 because that's a pretty good um, resolution. And then it doesn't really matter what color you do unless you're planning on making it a certain color right off the bat, but you can always change it anyway, so it doesn't matter that much. So then I go to create. I usually go down here to the bottom left, and as long as I have it in a square, I hit 160%, and then that just zooms it in for me so that it's um, good shape. Um, so I'll have to, let me just close this out right quick. Um, I'll have to send you the links of these. But basically, what I do to make a cool background, just any cool background, Patrick has these packs downloaded onto our um, Photoshop. So here's like the dusk pack, and then this is like the iron asset pack. I use the dusk pack a lot, so I'll just kind of show you what I do. So as you can see, I go through and I don't know if you know how to do this or yet not, but um, I just hit the little eye and it's on like the left of the layer, and that like makes it so you can see it and not see it. But so there's just like these different effects and stuff that are on here, like that and like that. You know, different like textures, and they got a bunch of cool stuff on here. So if I can remember right, I'm not really sure which one I used. So let's just we'll start with one of these textures. We'll just make a completely new background. All right, let's choose. Um, let's go with this one. I think I used this one for yours. So I take it, I click on it, and I drag it all the way up to the place I have, and then I bring it back to the square. It's important you bring it back to the square because then if you just let go after you're got to the tab, then it won't put it on there. So then I let go when it's on the square, and then I can click it again to resize it. I just go up to edit. You go to transform, and then it's got different stuff on here, but like you can rotate it and stuff. But we're gonna do scale. Just gonna scale it to the side, scale it to the bottom, just to make sure it fits all in here. And then boom, and then you just go back up to the move tool, and that'll put it in place, and then you can move it around and stuff. Um, so there we have that. And then in order to put like new colors and stuff on it, you go down to this like half circle thing. You click on it, it's got a bunch of different effects you can do, like gradient or like a solid color. So let's go to gradient. And then gradient, there's a bunch of different options they have. You can click on it and then click on the color again. Double click these little squares, and then you can change the color. So let's just say your colors are gonna be, we'll just go with like Nebraska colors. So let's go all the way to this red, and we'll make it like that. We'll make this, we'll make it a dark gray. And then, yeah, there's got a bunch of stuff that you can mess with. I'm not really sure exactly what all it does, but you'll just have to play around with it. So then you just hit OK. You hit OK. And then you go up here to the opacity. I'm sure you know what that is already. And then just changes that. Or you can go to this where it says normal. And they've got a bunch of different effects. You can just scroll through them like to make them look cool. Like that looks pretty good. Overlay is always a good one. That looks pretty good. Let's see. But yeah, there's a bunch of these. I mean, you can just go through all of them and pick which one you want. So I kind of like hard light. Overlay is pretty good. I'm gonna go with hard light. So yeah, and so it just kind of looks like that. You can do different stuff with it. Same with this. You can always change, like, make it like an overlay. It's not gonna look the same because I have a gradient over it, but like, if you take the gradient out and we have this white background, so it's like, yeah, it doesn't look very good because you can't really see it because of the white, but anyways. And then I just, sometimes I just go back into here, pick one of these. So we'll drag this one over. Put that here, and we can, and then, I don't know if you know how to move layers or not yet, but you can basically just hold it and drag it up here, like above whatever layer. Put that in place. Make it like an overlay, so it looks kind of, I don't really like how that looks actually. Maybe we won't use this one. So I guess that kind of looks cool, honestly. It's kind of got a cool effect to it, or so does that. We'll use that. And then as far as like the text behind it goes, depending on how much you want to use this, you just literally for you, I literally just did this a bunch, expand it, and then you double click it to select all text. Go up to the color, you can change the color, it doesn't really matter actually, the color doesn't, but you want to change the size to like, I don't know, 1.25 maybe. You can change that however you want, and then I go to the fill on this, and I just take it all the way down. And then to get effects on text or anything really, you double click the layer. Whoops, make sure to not click on the text because then it edits the text. But double click like under the text on the layer, and then it comes up with all this, like a drop shadow for all of them, or like a stroke. I'm sure you know what that is already, but yeah, I put a stroke on it. I usually put let's click on the stroke 2 a lot. I usually use outside white, and then you can move it up about here, and then I click on it, and you should be on Mac, so this should be the same. So to copy it, I hit Command J, and that copies the layer, and then I just move it down however I want it, and then just keep hitting Command J on all of them, just move them down, and then it'll show you like how far between, like, see, it shows like that 20 right there on these little lines. Show you how far between each of them are so that they're all the same amount apart. Command J, and I just take it all the way down so that it's nice. So we got a good background going. I mean, and then there's more effects on these little packs. Like we have 2 packs and I didn't even use the second pack. So yeah, this is, got that looking good. And then so basically then you can go through and you can hit not control, don't hit control, hit command and then click on it, command click, and then command click, and just click on all these little copies of the question marks. Command click, 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 and command click, and then hit Command G, and that puts them in the same group. And then you can hit this drop down arrow to view them individually. But with this, then you can just do, like, you can, do all these effects with them, like overlay. That's what I used for my one post. That looks pretty cool, I think. So we'll just use overlay. So yeah, there's kind of a lot of stuff that you can do with this, just kind of play around with it. I think this looks pretty good. And I'll get to making another video here in a second.